Hello everyone, this is Katie Carney for Katie Carney Stitching, and this is my Flosstube number 121, and I guarantee this is probably going to be a long one because I have a mess to show you. I hope that you're all well. Things here in Scranton are progressing. Spring has sprung, although it was 29 degrees when I went to Mass this morning at 11 o'clock, so who knows what it's like now, because I have been sitting in my chair working on finishing a big finish today, so I do have something exciting to show you. On a less fun note, my grandmother's very best friend for 60 years passed away on St. Patrick's Day, so about a week ago now, and I will be attending her funeral, of course, with my grandmother. They spoke every single day, and I spoke to her, I would say, at least once a day, every day. They spoke a couple times a day. So obviously it's a great loss to my grandmother, and then also to me. We talked a lot. I spent a lot of holidays with her. I would go down to her house to bring her things when she needed them. Just tried to be as helpful as possible, and turns out that they've decided to hold her funeral a few weeks after she has passed away, so it's not until the 5th of April. And I was supposed to be at a stitching retreat in Michigan with Jen and Stephanie, but I can't, for a variety of reasons, leave my grandmother for that. Personally, I want to be there because I was close with this woman, but then also, it was my grandmother's best friend. I can't guarantee that anybody I asked to take her, like my dad or his brothers, would actually follow through with that. That has proven to be an issue in the past. So it just made the most sense for me to cancel my trip, which is very sad. I was able to get one of my flights the cash back, the other one I got a credit, and then I'm just eating the cost of the retreat, of course. But this was the right decision, and though I'm sad, I know it was the right decision. So anyway, I'm not giving back my PTO at work, so I'm gonna have an at-home retreat. My grandmother wants to go to the casino for her birthday. Her birthday is April 12th. So one of the days off we'll go to the casino, which will be fun. And then I'm going to meet a friend and my godson for lunch one day. And then one day I'm going to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to sit in my chair. I'm going to order takeout. I'm going to watch Harry Potter because I'm just about done Return of the King. So I have finished Lord of the Rings. I'm going to watch Harry Potter and I'm going to do nothing. I'm not going to stress about work because that keeps me up at night, but we're not going to do that. So we shall see. Anyway, so that's the kind of sad update about that. Otherwise, Lent is chugging along. It was the third Sunday. Yeah, third Sunday. I sang today, so the during the gospel acclamation, it changes every week during Lent, and so you should see me like with my finger on the page to make sure I'm singing the right Sunday. But it's the third Sunday, I think. Yeah, because the first week is not full because it starts on Ash Wednesday. So yeah, this is the third Sunday of Lent. But anyway, I hope you're all having a great Lent. I have a lot of finishes to show you, so I will hop right to it. First off, this is my nativity piece. So I am stitching my church 3 times before it closes June 8th, and I finished the stitching last week on my second finish, and then this morning I woke up at 5:30 in the morning unable to sleep, so I did the back stitching this morning, though I had planned not to work at all on this weekend. So this is for my brother. So I have to admit something. It's kind of difficult to see the back stitching on the pattern. I can't look at it on my laptop or my tablet on like the PDF. I have to use the printout. But today I was using the other one, this one that I have finished. And do you notice anything different between the two? In the middle, in the stained glass, this is the first one, I forgot to put that whole section in the middle. And up close, it doesn't look great, but from far away, it does add something, so I have to go back and do that. But anyway, that's 2 done, which I'm thrilled by. And then I hadn't been able to decide for mine, because I haven't done mine yet, between this blue and green Charles Craft 14 count Ada. I don't know what the color is. Whatever, you can get it at Michael's. There you go. Green, blue, you can see it there. Or if I should go with this one, which is pinks and purples and really beautiful. And I've decided I'm going to go with this one because it's like the sundown of my church. So the sun is going down on my church for the last time. So. Alright, time to mess around with the light. Hang on. Okay, there we go. I just pulled the shade down. It's like 10 to 3 in the afternoon. So I didn't know what the light in here would be like, but actually it's great now that I have that closed. So, yay natural light. So yeah, that'll be mine, and I will start that next weekend. My plan had been to take a week off from this and not even do the back stitching this morning, but since I was up so early, I thought, what the heck. So 2 down, 1 to go. Technically, I still have another week of March left, so I have really 2 months to get it done. So that's great. But now that I have finished all of them each in 5 weeks, I would like to get this one done by the end of April. We'll see though, because Easter is obviously in April, my grandmother's birthday. But that's generally speaking, been my Sunday stitch, as I guess you know if you watch. And if you don't normally watch, welcome, I'm glad you're here. Okay, my next finish, and a little bit of a rant, is Maggie May this is the Animal Cracker series by Stacey Nash. I bought this, a friend of mine, actually not even, like an acquaintance of mine really, she messaged me and she had a little bunny that she got at a like vintage shop that she wanted a companion to. And I can't say no, so I said I would do it. In the last video, I said that it was stitched on 36 count and I needed it to be a little smaller, so I would do it on 32 count. That's not how math works. I did it on 40 count. My complaint. There's no DMC conversion to this. I do not know if that's how Stacey Nash's patterns always are, but this did not have a DMC conversion. I had 2 of the weeks that were called for. And it ended up that both of the weeks that were called for were such a almost black color that I couldn't use them. One of the weeks, oilcloth, is so new that there is no DMC conversion to be found online. What I ended up doing after a great deal of frustration and pulling the DMC and then still not really liking it was I went through that box of floss that I have and I just pulled out colors. So every single color in this is not the called for color. I will say I will not be stitching Stacey Nash again. It is her prerogative to not give the DMC conversion. It is my prerogative to not stitch things that don't have the DMC conversion. I do not have a shop near me. And ordering online is great, and I will say 1, 2, 3 stitches, $3.49 flat rate shipping is not bad, but then I have to wait. And when I decide I want to start something, I want to start it. I have a full set of DMC for a reason, and it is so that if on a Sunday afternoon I want to start something, I can. So that is my prerogative. That is my opinion. Actually, I opened a pattern, or I was looking at a pattern last week, and not only did it have the DMC conversion, it had the DMC color that the fabric matched, in case you can't get the fabric, and I think that's going above and beyond. And I wish I could remember who it was, but thank you to that person, because that's another thing that those of us who are, particularly if we're shopping online, you struggle trying to find fabric because you're looking at a picture of it. So kudos to that designer. I know no designers watch this, but if you're listening, DMC conversions are very helpful. You know, we're spending money on your patterns, and again, it is your prerogative to do what you want. You are the designer, but to make things more accessible for those of us who don't have a store or don't have the money, you know, Weeks is expensive, and you don't get a ton on a skein of it, so often you have to buy two. And that's with all of them. You know, they're all expensive. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I'm not, you know, I think that in many times the fancy floss is worth it. I use fancy floss when I have it. But I am saying that the DMC conversion is very nice. And then, if for no other reason, often the fancy floss's color changes. So if you have what the original DMC was, you can say, well, that doesn't look like that, and you can switch it. So it's helpful. Anyway, Maggie May. I did this on a 40 count linen dyed by Vicki Clayton. So it's it's the scrap from what I had already stitched. And it's pretty cute, actually. So originally the bunny was supposed to be in charcoal, and that my charcoal was like black, like it looked like 310, and that wasn't gonna work. I think maybe she's a little chunkier in the hips than the one that's called for, but I changed her jacket to a blue. It is oh, hang on, I have them all here. You can see my mess. All right, so her shoes and the darker color in her jacket are Color and Cotton Berry Crunch. This is from Birdie Bots, so I don't think you can get this. The jacket itself is Dinky Dye's Blue Blush. The dress itself is also that Color and Cotton, and it is Soap. So Soap is like a blue-gray, which that is really what it looks like, actually. So it's a blue-gray. And then the little like flowers in the fabric of her dress, I think this is Weeks 2120. This came, Jen, when she sent me some projects to finish, sent what was left of the fancy floss to finish the projects. The inside of the ear, the nose, and her cheek is Dinky Dye's Dusty Rose. You know, this is my absolute favorite pink. I'm gonna be devastated when it's gone. So this is my charcoal. So that was supposed to be the bunny, and that was just way too dark. So I ended up using, it's actually downstairs. I think it was like Grapevine or Concord Grapevine or something. Then for her face and by her eye, it's Dinky Dye's Toffee. And then in her eye is actually, that might be the charcoal, come to think of it. So there she is. This will be finished into, and it called for Confederate Gray, which I love as a color, but it was kind of sad next to all the happier colors I was using. So those need to all get put away. I will be finishing this as a stand-up. I would give anything for there to be a visual tutorial, not just a, Vanna has a video tutorial, and I do better with pictures. So if anybody has ever seen a stand-up tutorial in pictures, please let me know. But yeah, I have to do that this week. So I don't know if you'll all see this fully finished, but I'm sure I will take a million pictures. So that is Maggie May. I'm dreading fully finishing that, just so you know. My next finish is November Quaker. This was also a conversion. I used the Toffee by Bestitch Me. No, I didn't. I used Classic Colorworks English Ivy for the green, which is what was called for. I used Bestitch Me, whatever this is, for the DMC 3863. And then for the brown, I used another one of those Birdie Bots, Chocolate Frog. And it's on an 18 count Ada. And I have one more to go after this. This one was, I did not enjoy this one at all. There are mistakes as always, but that's okay. It's right, obviously right here. Figured out when I had finished it that I had forgotten a whole section, was not ripping it out. But I like it. I think there are more interesting colors for November, but that's okay. So I have one more, and that is December. So my plan is actually to pull the floss tonight for that. I feel like December has two colors, cherry cobbler and steamed broccoli. And I might actually have cherry cobbler. I don't have steamed broccoli, I don't think. So that's December. That's my last one. And I will be finished this. And I can knock it off my whip list, which is ever growing. Ever growing. It's kind of sad. Now, I have a huge finish. I am very proud. This has been my focus piece for the year. It's my oldest whip, and it is Winter Rose Manor with Thy Needle and Thread. I started this 1/1 of 21, so 4 years and almost 3 months ago. I am doing this on I have finished this on a 32 count Picture This Plus Bramble using the original Vicky Clayton silk conversion. And now that I have finished it, I am sure her new conversion is much better. There are things that with hindsight I would have changed. And I did change some things, which you will see. So anyway, all that to say, about a week ago, two weeks ago, I was on the road every day. I went to the cardiologist. Everything's okay. On Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was back and forth to the Lehigh Valley every day. And so I worked both long days and I left early. And by the time I got home, I was brain dead. I got very little stitching done. I had not finished filling in the house. I was like, I have to finish filling in the house. I'm just going to leave it out. And then on, I'd say Monday morning of this week, I was like, you know what? We're just finishing it. I've had enough. I don't want to work on this anymore. It's just got to get done. And that's what I did. So here it is. So you can still see the hoop marks. I did not iron it yet. Mostly because I had everything out to do my Flosstube and I didn't want to have to move it all to get the iron out. So there it is. Oh, maybe, there we go. So obviously it's blown out a little bit. And then let me show you some of the things I changed. So first off, I moved the letters around. There's the 2 V's for Victoria and Violet. There's the 3 little baby birds for the 3 kids. There's the N for Nicholas. And then there's the mommy and daddy cardinal. I changed the color of my goodness me. I changed the color right here on the bowl. And then the leaves were supposed to be 2 colors. I made mine 1. And the stems are actually a green, and they were supposed to be more of like a cream, and I really didn't like it, so I changed it. Just hang on one second, I'm sweating. Sorry, I have a space heater on, and it was cold, and then all of a sudden it got really hot. Probably because I'm moving and not just sitting in my chair. So anyway, the changes I made were adding an extra letter, adding an extra little baby bird, changing some of the colors. Actually, in this light, it really looks good. But some of the colors really, they both blended together and didn't look great. But now that I see it all done, which I'm not going to show you the back so I can look at it, I do like it quite a bit. So there it is. I have to ask her. I might ask her. We're gonna meet for lunch, not this week, but next week. Maybe we'll meet someplace close to the Hobby Lobby, and she and I can go to the Hobby Lobby together to pick a frame. Because I was up in the air if I would frame it myself or have it framed. But I will probably have it framed. I hate finishing. If I have a frame, I don't know. Square's hard. I don't think I have anything big enough. I don't know. We'll see. That's a future Katie problem. So anyway, that's my oldest whip done. So that's all my finishes. But that was, what was that? 1, 2, 4 finishes. So I consider that a win for the month. And I love this piece, and I'm very glad to be done it. My next oldest whip is actually Lavender and Lace. Is it not Fallen Roses? Nantucket Rose, which is right here. Hang on, I don't want to hang. I really keep pausing you today, and I apologize. It's Nantucket Rose, which I do have a start on. This is the one that I messed up the placement, and it's going to be tight, tight, tight. But my friend's daughter is likely to ask me, and by likely I mean is going to ask me to be her confirmation sponsor, and she loves to read. I think this would be the perfect gift for next year, so I would have a year to get it done. So not right away, but soon this will probably become my focus, like Winter Rose Manor was. I think my next actual focus, because I want to get it done, is going to be Frogworts. But that's my next oldest whip, so that's definitely on the list. Okay, now, I told you, 32 count Bramble, Vicky Clayton Silk conversion. Okay, now on to whips and new starts. So first, I did not work on this at all yesterday, and only very little last week. So last Saturday, I had decided I was going to finish Winter Rose Manor, and I worked on it a lot on Saturday. And then I also had a new start, which you'll see. And then Sunday, we had a terrible storm come through, and we lost power. It was the middle of the afternoon, so it was obviously it's bright enough in here to see without light. So I pulled out Agronoth, and then I worked on that for a couple hours because I could see it, and then I worked on it downstairs with my battery operated light that I bought at Barefoot Needle Arts, because it's battery operated. So I did get a little bit of work on this. So here is what it's gonna look like. It's for my dad. Need it done for Father's Day, so I have 2 months. I'll do it. I don't mind stitching. Like, if I have a deadline, I will work on it. I don't love having a ton of whips, but I don't mind panic finishing things. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm using the Called For DMC 4 strands tent stitch on a 14 count Aida, and this is for my dad for Father's Day. And I do still have it in the hoop, and I shall take it out. I had planned to work on it before I saw you all again, but instead I worked frantically on Winter Rose Manor. So the last time you saw it, I had finished, I think I had finished the light blue, the 3371 or whatever it is, and had started the gray. So here is where it is now. I love that you can like see the hand and tell what it is. So, I mean, I'm moving right along. This blue had the most stitches by far in it. So once I got that kind of squared away, I was moving in the right direction. So that is Visit Argonath, and I will probably, once I finish George Decorates for Martha, that will become downstairs stitching, and I'll show you how in a minute. Sorry about the crinkling. I do have to put this away though, or I'll lose the pattern. This bag arguably is too small for what I have in it. Okay. that's a whip. And here is another whip. This is George Decorates for Martha. This is by Plum Street Samplers. I'm using the called for floss that my brother gave me many years ago for my birthday or Christmas, I don't remember which. And a Bestitch Me 18 count Ada, I think in the color Honey, but that's a guess. And it turns out you cannot see the white. So I had to, the DMC, I think 822 was the called for white, and I switched out to Blanc. And here's where it is. So I haven't been getting as much done on this because I have been I worked on Maggie May pretty much, exclusively once I finished November. It was just, life was all about Maggie May. So now I'm focused on this because I do want to get it done. So up to here is complete. The little things are filled in, Martha's done, and then the roof is done, so I have places to build off of. Tonight I will probably start the pumpkin on top of the roof and get that started. Okay, it's the picture, not my camera that looks all fuzzy. I'm going to start that pumpkin just to get that in. I'll use DMC Blanc for that also. So yeah, we're moving along. I want to work over this way and make sure everything's going to fit. So that's how we're going. And like I said, I'm using the called for floss for that. And it is a Bestitch Me 18 count, and I don't know what. Now, you may think to yourself, well, Katie, that's 4 finishes and 3 whips. How much more could there be? You'd be shocked. So, a couple weeks ago, somebody finished on one of the cross-stitch groups, Annunciation by Marina Chemet, and her stitching account is a Marsham Stitch. And it is stunningly beautiful. Her finish is absolutely gorgeous, but that's the pattern. It's 22 pages long. It did go into Pattern Keeper, though, thank God. And made by Michelle McGraw and the 911 Stitcher. So Michelle and Stacy and I were sending each other pictures of this, and we all fell in love with it. And we decided to start it. Because, I clearly need a new start. I don't have any, it's fine. And it's only 347 by 375, 81,000 stitches. This is fine. Based on that, you can imagine I did not have any fabric big enough. The woman who designed it and originally stitched it did it in a very dark burgundy red on white. I'm assuming even weave or Ada. I don't know which. Because there's so much that you don't really see the fabric. So couldn't decide what to do. Stacy, because she's amazing, pulled out DMC colors that she was thinking about, and she pulled out DMC 814, which is much redder than it's showing there. Hang on one second, my dad's calling me. Sorry, he's dropping something off, so I'm gonna have to pause again. This is the most unhinged video. But anyway, Stacy pulled out DMC 814, and I pulled it out and fell in love with it and said, I'll go buy it. And then obviously Joann's didn't have any. My Joann's has no cross stitch left at all. Michael's didn't have 8, 13, 14, or 15 at all. And I didn't even go to Hobby Lobby. On Amazon, I found a cone of and I quote, dark burgundy red, and said, we're taking a chance. And it is DMC 814. So I ordered a cone for the first time in my life. And I have 0 regrets because I started it last weekend. I got a couple hundred stitches in, and it's beautiful. I love it so much. I cut my fabric. I need to put some fray edge on it before I work on it again, because this is a huge, huge piece of fabric. But here's what I got done. So not much, but it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love, love, love this. And I think, so when I show you my next whip, you'll see that I've been putting 3 strands of floss in it every day. And I think that might become my new thing, having like a single color stitch that I just put a strand or 2 in a day. I think that's the way I'm leaning, and if so, that will be next. So that is my next whip, and now my other one's on the other side of the room. Hold again. Well, that was a much longer break than I planned, but I'm back. And you don't know how long it's been, but my dad is downstairs. So if you hear a man's voice, that is why. So anyway, I think I had told you in my last video that I had an Ash Wednesday start, and it was going to be Teteleste, but really we're from here on out going to call it It Is Finished. And it is by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. And I think I told you I was going to do this in a green that I had dyed myself. And I'm a liar. I am using DMC 1. So this is one of the new fancy flosses. It's like a silvery gray, which is one of my favorite colors. And I have it in this Save the Stitches bag. I love this bag. And I ended up using a 32 count mystery. I think it is an even weave, or 28 count. It is so loose and so big. It's wild, but I love the color. It's more of a purple, which is the Lenten color, obviously. So that's why I didn't change it from that. So here's where I am so far. You can see how much fabric I have. Hang on, let me fold it. All right, there we go. So here's what I have so far. Wow, it's like I've never done a Flosstube before. There's what I have done so far. So I have the top border done, and I'm about 2/3 of the way done the bottom border. I have been doing 3 strands of DMC a day, and then obviously the first day I got quite a bit more done. I am at 47%, and Easter is April 20th, so I'm rocking and rolling. I did not work on it yesterday or today, though I might put a couple strands in today just because I finished my big thing that I was working on. And then I'm going to spend all day tomorrow on it. My goal is to have this done by on Holy Thursday, and my goal is on Holy Thursday to just have to put in It Is Finished. I don't see that being a problem. Like I said, 3 strands a day is about a little over 3%, because it's about 5,000 stitches. 3 strands is around 155-ish stitches for me. On this 28 count, 2 strands over 2. I don't love how my stitches look. They don't look bad from far, but when you're right on top of them, I'm like, oh. I think part of that is that I haven't used 28 in a long time, and I'm very used to 40 count now. So yeah. And then this, what I have done now, I have 1 strand left from my first skein of the DMC. So yeah. That is It Is Finished by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. But I'm really enjoying just like a couple strands of one color. You don't have to think that hard about it. So that I may continue that. I have a couple projects that are one color. The Annunciation is one of them, and then also I have a Harry Potter piece on 20, I don't know what count. But anyway, that is that. So now, what am I going to work on? I am going to work on It Is Finished, George Decorates for Martha. I will eventually start December, but I want to give real time to George Decorates for Martha. Saturday will be my Agronoth, and Sunday will be my nativity piece. But I'm going to focus this week for the rest of the month on this. We talked about it last week. This is Santa's House by Cottage Garden Samplings. There it is. I need to make a working copy of this pattern. I thought I had it in Pattern Keeper and I don't. And I don't feel like dealing with that, so we're just gonna hope for the best. That's all we can do. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that this week. And then I do have some haul. I have a lot of haul, actually. First off, the 22 count Ada that I bought for Annunciation, I bought it from Amazon. This is my address, so I will cover that up. But it came in this package, and it is a 22 count cross stitch fabric, 59 by 39. It is a huge piece of fabric. I still have a ton left, and it is So Crane is the brand. And so far I like it. It was very cheap, but I like it just fine. So anyway, that is what I'm using for that. And then I got my Vicki Clayton Silks of the Month. So this is the variegated and the DMC. You can do them both. You get a little discount. And then I think I showed you what I was planning to put them in. And then I made the mistake of watching Made by Michelle McGraw's Flosstube. You should check it out. I don't think there's anybody who watches me who doesn't already watch her. But if you don't, she's made by Michelle McGraw and she's fantastic. Because of her, I promptly went to Amazon and ordered this photo box case. These are 5x7 size, and what I like about this is you'll be able to see the names and numbers of the silks. So the bobbin boxes I bought I will use for when I'm putting those in projects. So they lay flat in these, and I figure I'll do one side with DMC and one side with Fancy. This came today, so obviously I haven't done anything with it yet. And then, also because I watched Made by Michelle McGraw, I have an issue. Well, I have many issues. But I store my project bags on these hangers for dresses, for skirts or pants. And then they hang in a closet. And it's a great way to keep all my projects, my whips together, and also have someplace to put them because I have 30 right now-ish. But if I can't remember what's in a project bag, then I'm in a bind. So she uses these reusable, plastic luggage tags, and she just puts a piece of paper in with what the project is, and it comes with a clear thing to hook it on with, and then I have, for bags that don't have zippers, I have safety pins, and then I will be able to tell which project is which. I also had to order 2 more of the hangers because I have so many whips. Now those are pretty cheap haul, you know, nothing too outlandish, nothing too crazy. But you see, I was supposed to go to a retreat, and when I was at Barefoot, Michelle had a stand that travels really well, and I use 40 count a lot, which is hard to see without a hoop, and it's hard to hold a hoop in hand at a table. And she started bringing out, she has 2 Patoki frames, ironically enough, both of which she had with her. So I tried one out. And Patoki has 2 tabletop or lap stand stands. The original one, which is about $100 cheaper, and then the much more expensive foldable one that folds down small enough that you can put it in a case, folds flat to take it to retreats. And I was never ever going to get that one because that is way too much money. But someone on Facebook decided they didn't want theirs, and they were selling it for, I think, $70 or $80 off. And I hemmed and hawed, and I messaged the person, and I talked to my friends, and I couldn't decide what to do. And then I ordered it. And then the next day, I found out I wasn't going to be going to the retreat that I ordered it for, specifically, though I will use it other times. But my plane ticket refund was what I paid for the stand. So here it is. I didn't pick the color, but in the picture it looked way blonder, and I'm thrilled because this is a color I love. So what I love about this is it will sit on your lap. I have a Dubco that I use for beading specifically. That's blue and beautiful, and I bought it before the war, so it was much cheaper. And it's great, but it is hard. It does not sit on your lap. It's top heavy. This will only hold a hoop, which is fine. That's what I usually use. I very rarely use my frames. I prefer a hoop because I can move things around, and it's more manageable. So I'm thrilled. This will sit on my lap. I can use it downstairs. So for things like Agronoth that really I don't like to stitch full coverage in hand. And I don't like to hold a hoop while I'm stitching. So I'll be able to two-handed stitch downstairs, which is great. I'm very excited. So that is my huge purchase. And I'm not feeling guilty about it because I got the refund for my plane ticket. So the Lord works in mysterious ways. So yeah, my plans are, I told you them already. That is my new stand. I'm going to save up and buy a case for it because Hobby House Needleworks sells a case that it will fit in, which is great. Mine that I got, I think it's called the Patoki Modern, if you're ever looking at them. If you are, they are very expensive. I recognize that. And I'm very lucky that I was able to buy it. And I recognize that also. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been with me forever, God bless you. Again, I hope that you're having a wonderful Lent. If it's Ramadan for you, I hope it's been a very successful fast. I know that Eid, I don't know how to say it, I will admit, is this coming either the 30th or the 31st, depending on the moon or the sun. The moon, right? Yeah, the moon. So I hope that you have a wonderful end to that beautiful holiday season. If you're not celebrating Lent is a sad, sad time. If you're walking through Lent right now, know that you're in my prayers. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. I told you this was going to be a long one, and I meant it. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.